You're in a losing trade. It's not massive, not yet, but it's clear something isn't right. Price is moving against you, slowly, steadily. Your stop loss is right there. All you have to do is close the trade, take the loss, move on. But you don't. Instead, you wait, because deep down, it's not the money you're afraid of losing. It's something else. You don't want to be wrong. Every trader has been here, staring at a trade, knowing what they should do, but not doing it. You start thinking, maybe it'll come back. It's just a pullback. The idea is still valid, and with every second, closing the trade becomes harder, because once you close it, it's real. You were wrong. Losing money hurts, but being wrong hits differently. Because when you're wrong, it feels personal, like your analysis failed, like your judgment wasn't good enough. And for a moment, it feels like you failed. So instead of accepting that, you delay it. So you don't close the trade, you hold it, just a little longer. You tell yourself you're being patient, that you're giving the trade room to breathe. But that's not what's happening. You're avoiding a decision. And that one choice starts a chain reaction. Price keeps moving against you. Now the loss is bigger. But instead of closing, you double down on your belief. You start defending the trade, looking for reasons you're still right, ignoring signs that you're not. Because the bigger the loss gets, the harder it becomes to admit the truth. Eventually, you can't ignore it anymore. The loss is too big. The damage is done. So you close it. And in that moment, it hits you. Not just the financial loss, but the realization that you let it happen. That you had multiple chances to exit and didn't take them. But it doesn't stop there, because this fear shows up in winning trades too. You enter a good trade. It moves in your favor. Everything is going well. But then you start thinking, what if it reverses? What if I lose this profit? So you close early, not because the setup is invalid, but because you want to lock in being right. So now you have a pattern. You hold losers too long and cut winners too early, not because of strategy, but because of emotion. Because one side protects your ego and the other avoids pain. And together, they slowly destroy your results. This is the ego trap, where trading stops being about probabilities and becomes about identity. You don't want to be the trader who's wrong. So you fight it, you resist it, you try to control the outcome instead of accepting it. But the truth is, you don't control the market. You only control your decisions. And when your decisions are driven by ego, you lose that control too. Because now, you're not following a plan. You're reacting to how you feel. And over time, this adds up. Small losses turn into big ones. Big winners turn into small ones. And your account slowly bleeds. Not because your strategy is bad, but because your behavior is inconsistent. Professional traders understand something different. They don't try to be right. They try to be consistent. They accept losses quickly. They let winners play out. Because they know being wrong is part of the game, not something to avoid. You need to redefine what being right actually means. Because right now, you're measuring it the wrong way. You think being right means making money on a trade, but that's incomplete. Because you can make money and still trade badly, and you can lose money and trade perfectly. Being right is not about the result. It's about the decision. If you followed your plan, entered where you were supposed to, managed the trade exactly how you defined, then you were right, even if the market went against you. And once you truly understand that, losses stop feeling like failure. They become part of the process. This is where everything starts to shift, not in your strategy, but in how you think. You stop asking, was I right about the market? And start asking, did I execute correctly? That question removes emotion. It removes ego. It brings everything back to structure. Because now, you're not judging yourself based on outcomes. You're judging yourself based on discipline. And that's something you can actually control. Over time, this creates stability because your performance is no longer random. It's consistent. But this is the hard part. Because your ego won't disappear overnight. It will fight you, quietly, constantly in the background. It will try to protect itself. It will tell you, hold a little longer. Give it one more chance. It might come back. And in that moment, it will feel convincing, logical even. But that's the trap. Because your ego doesn't care about your long-term results. It only cares about avoiding discomfort. Right now. And if you listen to it, you'll keep repeating the same mistakes. That's where real discipline comes in. Not as an idea, but as a decision you make in real time. A decision to follow your rules, even when it feels wrong, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when every part of you wants to do the opposite. Because discipline is not tested when things are easy. It's tested when you're under pressure, when the trade is losing, when your emotions are high, when your ego is loud, and in those moments, you either follow your system or you don't. There's no middle ground. At some point, this stops being about individual trades and starts becoming about who you are as a trader. Are you the kind of trader who needs to be right, or the kind of trader who follows a process? Because those are two completely different identities. One is driven by emotion. The other is driven by structure. And once you make that shift, your decisions start to change automatically. You no longer feel the need to prove anything. You're not chasing validation. You're executing a system. And that's where consistency begins. Every time you accept a small loss, you're reinforcing the right behavior. You're telling yourself, I follow my rules. Every time you let a winner run, you're strengthening your edge. You're allowing your system to work. But every time you do the opposite, you create damage. You weaken your discipline. You confuse your process. And over time, those small decisions compound. They build either confidence or chaos. And that's what separates traders who improve from those who stay stuck. So next time you're in a trade and you feel that hesitation, that resistance, that urge to hold, pause, slow it down. Don't react immediately. Just observe what's happening inside your mind and ask yourself, am I managing this trade or protecting my ego? Because that moment, that exact moment, is where everything is decided. Not by the market, but by you. Because that one question can change everything. It can stop you from turning small losses into big ones. It can help you finally let your winners run without cutting them short. And most importantly, it can break the cycle that keeps most traders stuck for years. Not because they lack knowledge, but because they never fix their behavior. If this made you see your trades differently, if it made you recognize your own patterns, then this is exactly where your improvement starts. So subscribe, because everything on this channel is designed to help you think clearly, act with discipline, and finally trade in a way that actually works over time.